Is doing when you're not looking? Well, some local private investigators may know because they catch cheaters every day. And wait until you see what they caught on tape tonight in a Local 2 exclusive. Local 2 reporter Kim Alvarado Booth with local husbands and wives quick to love, honor, and betray.
In the back seat of cars, the floors of crowded bars, tables at restaurants, even in their own homes.
There he goes.
Yeah, you can see him right there.
The private investigators at Kgriff will tell you infidelity can happen anytime, any place, with anyone.
A lot of times they'll just talk and meet, or meet and talk first, and then it gets progressively a little bit more and more.
And it's amazing how bold people become, and it's also amazing how flagrant people can be in public.
Owner Kathy Griffin has spent 15 years building a business that gets the dirt on people no matter where it takes them.
A lot of times there's no activity, but your heart starts pounding for that 1 minute of video that makes it all worth it.
Snips of video, like this married man who sneaks away to see prostitutes, and these co-workers who spend their lunch hour in the back seats of cars, or this woman who is cheating on her husband with another woman.
I've always kind of looked at it like, if you don't have something tangible to deal with, you can't deal with it.
And these women certainly come up with the tangible goods.
You got her voicemail? All right, which means she's not there, which means she's probably with him.
It seems easy enough. Borrow a car, grab a camera, and go. So why hire a PI? For one thing, in court, a private eye with a good reputation can be a credible witness.
I wanted some proof. Anybody can go in and say anything, but we're such a proof-driven society.
That's something Robert found out when a few years ago he and his wife almost divorced. He learned he would lose full-time custody of his children.
It gave me a voice instead of the court just dictating this is the way things are going to be.
Robert says he didn't even watch the tape that helped him win this case.
Knowing was enough for me. I didn't want to see the guys. I didn't want to see them.
But Reed did.
That's when I saw her for the first time. Actually engaging in kissing with another woman. The initial shock was so devastating, I just couldn't believe that it was taking place, and that the first thing I thought of was that I was wasting all these years.
Reed says trying to investigate his spouse was just too hard emotionally.
When one lie turned into another and I just couldn't find out any answers, that's when I started deciding that in order for me to find out something, I needed to do something besides using myself as checking up, because it was too difficult.
Kimberly says she didn't need a private investigator because her husband hadn't cheated.
I was thinking there's something wrong. He's had a nervous breakdown. Maybe he's got a brain tumor.
On her attorney's advice, she got one anyway and found not only was he cheating, he had another family, and the mistress is pregnant.
But when you see it for yourself, you see it on video, and you see that that is truly your husband, the person that you've been married to almost 20 years, then you know it's true.
I'm Kim Alvarado Booth, Local 2 News.
How can you tell if your spouse is cheating? Well, Griffin says her best advice is to listen to that little nagging voice in your head. She says after doing this for many years, she says there is infidelity in 90% of the cases she investigates. For more information on Kgriff Investigation, you can log on to click2houston.com. An exciting night for
Local 2 News at 10 o'clock awarded the Emmy for Outstanding Evening Newscast in Texas.
From cheating spouses to workman's comp violators, many are eventually caught, some with the help of private investigators. It sounds like an exciting job, but do you know what PIs really do? Well, they see more than you might think. In tonight's Local 2 Extra, we take you into the shadows to see who might be watching. Maybe the real life of the modern-day private eye isn't quite that exciting, but it can be just as entertaining.
Never a dull moment. I can say that.
Just ask some women who would know.
I think it used to be a man's career, and I think that more and more females are now getting into it. I think that's the more successful. She's not in her office, so they're probably meeting right now. Okay. So we'll find out.
Kathy Griffin owns Kgriff Investigations, and Tina DeFoy is her right-hand, woman.
Typical people's jobs are from 8 to 5. Ours begins at 8 and sometimes doesn't end.
Something Kathy's merry band of women doesn't mind one bit.
And we've also identified the other subject who he's having the affair with.
The 34 licensed investigators can do everything from background checks to surveillance, even undercover work.
It's easier a lot of times for females to get information out of people or to be able to blend in.
We're going to go inside and try to see what's going on.
Like the time Tina and Kathy followed a cheating spouse into a karaoke bar.
People love to tell their business. We went into a karaoke bar. This woman was leaving her child and husband at home and having an affair with the guy that ran karaoke.
We brought the video camera in. We acted like we had friends that were singing karaoke.
She wanted to exchange numbers by the end of the night. So yes, we do have situations where we
don't
can
have
get...
to say much, and they just
sing.
All right. First thing we do is always put the visors down. Always, always. We want to limit the amount of space anybody can see in, and of course our windows are all tinted.
You can forget about the James Bond gadgets. For the real PI, it's all about a video camera, the right car, and patience.
She's having him come to her house.
Well, that makes sense since she's out of town.
So where is the strangest place they've caught cheaters?
Well, actually in a hotel. Parking garage and not even going into the hotel.
Right.
They have drinks in the bar and then go back to the car. Strange. Cheap.
Yes, so.
In the end, the best private eyes are the ones you never see.
You just don't ever want to draw attention to yourself, and that's how you're successful. You just have to get the information. We get the facts. That's all we get the facts, ma'am.
Kgriff does more than chase cheating spouses. In fact, most of their business comes from background checks.